if you weren't quick-witted, well, you were in trouble. I'm not joking. It's a place that we worked. We had a lot of fun in those days, but it was a lot of banter, a lot of back and forth. And it was, if you were going to survive and if you were going to kind of make your way, you had to learn to be pretty quick in response, or you had to think through carefully what you said because you didn't want to leave yourself open. Okay? And what I have found as a problem with me is that sometimes I will forget myself. And in that banter back and forth, I have taken that too far at times. I don't intend to be offensive. I don't want to be offensive. But sometimes I am. And when I am offensive like that, you know what? And somebody says, hey, it's like, I need to own it, and I need to ask for forgiveness. Look, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, Pastor, you did or said or whatever, you know, I have got to own it. And sometimes I have no recollection of doing it. But I've often tried to say, you know something, I'm sorry. I was not trying to be offensive, and if there's anything that I need to do to make things right, let me know. Not too long ago, I remember someone sent me an email, and I responded to them. I said, hey, if I have done anything to offend, if I need to make anything right, please let me know. I'm still waiting to see if there's something that I did or said. I would love to make that right, but sometimes you need to own it. Now, sometimes you need to go to confront someone. Offenses are going to come. You're going to be offended, and you're probably going to offend someone. But as best you can be, not to be the offender, and let's look at the context here. Notice in verse 1, the Lord Jesus is speaking, and he says, it's impossible, but that offenses will come. But woe unto him through whom they come. So don't be the offender. And in the context here, it is offending someone, especially a little one. Now notice, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he cast into the sea than that he should offend one of these little ones. The context here is, look, don't be the offender, and especially, and in context, as I'm reading this, by the way, what we learned in Sunday school, it was in the idea of a parable. This is just straightforward doctrinal teaching. Do not offend a little one. And I take it in the context here, it is offending a little one to the point of where they walk away from any possibility of believing on the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, I am not the Lord, and I will not be the one who makes judgment. But when I read or see or hear of anyone, whether it's in a school system or whether it's someone who is some proponent of taking God out of our lives and saying that children are being mindlessly, robots to be taught to come to a saving knowledge of the Lord or whatever else. It's just all fantasy. It's all fairy tale. And they say things like that, and then they work in order to get God out of any possible conversation. And they work to mitigate anything that some child or someone might come to a saving knowledge of Christ and influence generation. Children are impressionable. I tell the families whenever they want to put their children here in our school, and they're from different backgrounds and sometimes different churches, I will tell them up front. I will say, look, we want to have your children here if we have room, and we're bursting at the seams here in our school. But if you want to have them here, that's great. But let me just tell you where we are in the gospel. I don't know what their background may be, but I will tell them. Look, parents right in the eye and say, look, now we are aggressive with the gospel. And I explain what that means. I'll say, look, we do not shy away from, we don't make it them that we teach clearly Jesus Christ is the only help or hope they have of heaven, and that these children need to come to a saving knowledge of Christ. And our teachers are going to teach that in their Bible classes. It's going to be reiterated in our chapel services on Friday. Child in that kind of an environment and influence, this may not be the place for you, but that is who we are. And you know,